So like,
no, two-time unified heavyweight champion, so far so good.
oh, with boxing, yeah, 100%. But what I'm saying now is there's another level of fitness.
You guys wanted me to go bigger? How about twice?
If Anthony Joshua was to do what he done to Ngannou to Jake Paul, that's like life-changing injury.
Anthony Joshua has shocked fans with a monstrous new physique that looks engineered for destruction. Leaner, sharper, and more explosive than ever, AJ's transformation has set the boxing world on fire. Social media is buzzing as his granite-cut shoulders, tightened frame, and revived championship posture send a chilling message straight to Jake Paul. This isn't just a cosmetic upgrade. It's a declaration of intent, a warning that Joshua is preparing for absolute domination.
The only way you're gonna win a 12-round fight is if you push yourself in the gym. So, yeah, that's what I like about the world-class boxing gym.
Everyone says they want to be world champ, but people are not willing to do what it takes to become a world champ. And even in this gym, it's like we put through the test, because I mean, it's one thing to say you want to hang out with champs and hang out with other fighters, another thing to be able to endure the workout, endure the work. So it's a big thing. He's been pushing himself. He's asking me, what can I do more? How can I be better? How can I build my fitness more? And that's really a sign of a great individual and a great champion.
Joshua explained that his size isn't some overnight transformation. It's simply his genetics, strengthened through relentless work. He emphasized that his natural power, when fully activated through focused training, becomes dangerous for anyone standing across the ring. With Jake Paul next in line, Joshua made it clear he isn't adding muscle for appearances. He's unlocking what's already inside him, and once those punches start flying, that raw, fully unleashed power could mean serious trouble for Jake.
A lot of road work. So even though I'm big, this is just genetics. It's not like I spend hours in the gym like lifting. You can't run 10 miles and only spar 4 rounds. You have to run 4 miles and spar 10 rounds. Yeah, like what I'm trying to say is gym work's important with your coach. All this stuff is just the core stuff, this stuff is just the extra add-ons that you're gonna get. But you have to have good technique, you have to have a good understanding of boxing. Like that's your muscle, your brain. That's what a coach is gonna train you mostly. Like he wants to train this. And if you've got that is strongest, yeah, I feel like you'll be good. So far, so good.
Jake Paul has openly acknowledged the massive size gap between himself and Anthony Joshua, but instead of backing away, he's using it as motivation. For years, critics told him to fight someone his own size. So he went even bigger, choosing an opponent nearly twice as large. Paul is framing this matchup as the ultimate test, a statement that he's not afraid of danger, backlash, or the spotlight that comes with stepping in against a heavyweight titan like Joshua. To Jake, proving his legitimacy means taking on the biggest challenge possible. Still, despite his bravado, even he can't ignore the undeniable risks that come with facing a man of Joshua's size, strength, and seasoned power.
You wanted me to go bigger? How about twice as big? Literally, he's twice as big as Gervonta. He's 6'6", 260 pounds with an 82-inch reach. I mean, just look at us next to each other. Two-time heavyweight champion of the world, an Olympic gold medalist. While he was winning Olympic gold, I was filming Vines in high school. AJ is a knockout artist with fights that have literally ended in seconds. He's fought legends, Klitschko, Usyk, Ruiz, Ngannou.
The tale of the tape for Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul reveals a physical mismatch that could heavily influence the fight. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach and a natural heavyweight frame, typically weighing over 240 pounds. In contrast, Jake Paul at 6 feet 1 inch, with a 76-inch reach and roughly 200 pounds, is giving up major height, weight, and power advantages. Joshua's reach allows him to control the distance, forcing Paul to take risks just to get inside. The weight gap means AJ's punches carry far greater stopping power, while Paul must depend on speed, angles, and perfect timing. If Joshua uses his size strategically, the fight could quickly become a physically overwhelming challenge for Jake.
You've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got to talk about experience and everything else. What comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. They'll come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pounds versus 252 pounds. We've got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's at 43, but 43 of them are included at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4. 25 KOs. And the one person that Jake Paul lost to was Tommy Fury. Now, can we compare Tommy Fury?
The tale of the tape for Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul shows a clear physical mismatch that could heavily influence the fight's outcome. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach and a natural heavyweight frame, weighing well over 240 pounds. Jake Paul, at 6 feet 1 inch with a 76-inch reach and around 200 pounds, gives up significant height, weight, and power advantages. Joshua's reach allows him to dictate range, making it difficult for Paul to close distance without absorbing punishment. The weight gap means AJ's punches deliver far greater stopping force, while Paul must rely on speed, footwork, and precise timing. If Joshua uses his physical tools wisely, the fight could become a physically overwhelming and punishing challenge for Jake.
To say Anthony is ruining his legacy just by taking this fight.
Fans don't respect what he's done in the sport already. He's an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world.
I sort of sympathize with him because I feel like if he doesn't beat him quicker than he beat Francis, people are just going to write it off. I'll ask you bluntly, have there been any discussions about there's an agreement, there's a secret contract? Have any of those discussions happened regarding this fight?
It's an 8-round professional fight. AJ wouldn't have taken it if that was the stance it had to be, if it was an exhibition, if it was you've got to hold him up for 8 rounds. It wouldn't suit Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua.
Matchroom Boxing CEO Frank Smith has taken a measured stance on the idea of Anthony Joshua facing Jake Paul. While he hasn't dismissed the possibility, Smith told the Ariel Helwani show that Joshua's return is likely, just not against Paul anytime soon. He highlighted the massive gap in pedigree, noting that Paul's rise is far different from Joshua's elite-level journey. Smith confirmed that early 2026 discussions for a potential Paul matchup are ongoing, showing Matchroom isn't ignoring the hype, but he remains grounded in the reality of boxing's unpredictable business landscape.
Remember when Tyson fought Ngannou the first time? He was like, this isn't my cup of tea, and then obviously he ended up fighting Ngannou, and so I didn't know if this was a bridge too far for him.
No, I think for AJ it was just that he's done everything in the sport. He's been, like I say, he's a 2-time unified champion. He's fought the best, the elite fighters in Alexander Usyk twice. And for him, it's just, right, I want to do things that interest me, motivate me. And obviously, if you can go and do that for a load of money against someone, but I think me and Jake Paul might be more competitive than Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua.
Oh my dear.
I actually want to make as the comeback fight of Jake Paul, Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't you think that would be big? As the comeback fight.
Yeah, meaning after he loses this one.
For Jake's comeback fight.
You think Eddie would be down?
For money.
Could you imagine?
I know. I'd happily negotiate with him.
Tony Bellew has expressed strong skepticism about the Joshua-Paul fight ever becoming a reality. He believes the matchup is a massive mismatch, with Joshua's size, power, and experience creating a dangerous scenario for Jake Paul. Bellew argues the fight is driven mostly by money, warning that Paul is putting his health at risk for a payday. While he doesn't think the bout would damage Joshua's legacy, he insists that Joshua would dominate from start to finish. To Bellew, the entire idea feels more like a spectacle than a legitimate sporting contest.
I don't believe a single thing until literally I see them in a ring together. He was supposed to fight Gervonta Davis, wasn't he? He was 5 stone lighter and 5 stone lighter and 8 inches shorter. So I don't believe anything. Until they're in a ring together, I don't believe nothing.
Obviously AJ was meant to fight in an 8-rounder. I think Eddie said to me earlier against
an 8-rounder?
Yeah, against a top 120 opponent on BoxRec that none of us would have heard of. Just a kind of confidence, go and get a knockout type victory. I suppose you can go and do that against Jake Paul and earn an absolute fortune from
Listen, I've said before and I'll say it again. Boxing is a brutal, brutal business. Go and make as much as you can, as quick as you can. Once you've achieved your dream and goals of becoming a world champion, there's nothing left to do besides make money. But what are you chasing? You've won all the belts. You know, I think he's missing a WBC. I think that's about it. Go and get the belts, and that's it. Move on.
Do you believe it should be sanctioned?
What I believe doesn't matter.
No, but I'm just curious.
What I believe doesn't matter because some governing body will,
Of course.
or some sanctioning body will, some
Florida State
organisation. Yeah, absolute maniacs. But you know, that's another argument. That's another cause. It's like the one I heard Christian Maxine talking about on the radio the other day. He's talking about safety of fighters. Champ, you were the worst for it. You went up to cruiserweight when you were super middleweight. I didn't do it once, but twice. And then you're saying people should have saved you from yourself. No, that's why we're fighters. So, it's boxing. We know what we sign up for. We know what...
Many experts believe it would be embarrassing for Anthony Joshua if he fails to knock out Jake Paul within minutes. With the fight seen as a huge mismatch, anything short of a dominant KO could raise doubts and potentially chip away at Joshua's legacy.
Per fight, is it? Well, here's some proper talk then. If Anthony Joshua doesn't knock out Jake Paul within 6 minutes, it's embarrassing. Not only for him, but also for the sport of boxing. And if he does knock him out within 6 minutes, because it's a proper fight, boxing better pray that there's no lasting damage to Jake Paul. The phrase, fuck around and find out, springs to mind. This is not a game. You don't play boxing. Especially not with a 2-time unified heavyweight world champion in his athletic prime. If you're gonna deal with clowns...
As Johnny Nelson explains, AJ is stuck in a no-win situation. If Jake Paul lasts the full fight, it immediately raises doubts about Joshua's sharpness and motivation. Many believe a seasoned heavyweight like AJ should dominate quickly, and any extended or competitive bout would weaken the idea that this matchup is just an easy payday, not a real challenge.
Be a proper fight.
I do believe it because AJ's involved, and I think AJ'd struggle to he's going to take enough flack over this, but again, it's money talk. So I think AJ will struggle because it's an Owen situation. If he goes in there, Jake Paul lasts the distance. What's he tell you about AJ? Apart from he's just earned an extra 15 million quid. If he goes there and struggles with Jake Paul, then what's to say about AJ? Your heydays are long and truly over. If he goes in there and knocks him out, then I'll say that's to be expected. So the glory, there's probably not much glory in it, apart from the haters of Jake Paul say, "Oh, I've got rid of this kid." I think he's very brave of Jake Paul. So now the problem child has got us to believe this fight's actually happening. So now you've got our attention. So now you've got to back up the boast. It's not about, you're not playing tiddlywinks. This is the only game you can't play. You can play football, golf, tennis.
Nelson praised Jake Paul's business savvy, calling him a genius for how he's packaged and monetized his brand, but he remains doubtful of Paul's standing as an elite fighter. He believes Paul is a solid domestic-level competitor who earns world champion money without taking the traditional path of grinding in the gym or climbing the pro ranks. In Nelson's view, Paul's true power comes from his promotion, marketing, and online influence, far more than from top-tier boxing skill.
Dubois is going to be 35 years of age. It's crazy what I'm about to ask you, but can Jake Paul really beat Anthony Joshua?
All right, listen, I give all credit. Everyone knows that. They get mad at me that I gave too much credit to Paul. Why? He's done a hell of a job to put himself in this position. He sold himself. He sold his dream. He took his dream. He took his idea, and he put it out there, and he made it happen. Give him credit for that. And he made it happen. And he took risk along the way. Yeah, he picked his spots. He's in the driver's seat. He gets to pick his spots. He's the one bringing the money. He's the one promoting. Yeah, he's the name. He made himself that, coming from where he came from, with all his followers and the whole thing, and just the uniqueness of what he was doing. But he has learned along the way.
He's not a top guy yet. No, I don't know that he ever will be. He didn't have that amateur background and the things that you usually need.
Jake Paul's ambitions go beyond boxing, as he has openly expressed interest in taking on MMA superstar Conor McGregor. He claims that his boxing skills are steadily improving while suggesting that McGregor's abilities are waning with age. These assertions have been met with widespread skepticism, given McGregor's extensive combat sports background and proven accomplishments. Paul's comments highlight both his confidence and his strategy of calling out high-profile athletes to raise his own profile in the combat sports world. Meanwhile, fans are highly anticipating a potential matchup between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. Many believe Joshua would dominate and humble Paul, given the massive difference in experience, skill, and physicality. Paul's history of publicly challenging elite fighters and claiming superiority has made him one of the most polarizing figures in combat sports, with his confidence often viewed as unrealistic. Despite this, the possibility of a fight between Joshua and Paul has generated enormous interest. Fans are eager to see if Joshua would decisively end Paul's bold claims inside the ring, while Paul continues to leverage attention from such high-profile calls to advance his career and maintain relevance in the sport.
I've got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass. You know what? I want this to happen, just so Anthony Joshua can just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP in Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out?
According to many boxing analysts, Jake Paul has become the sport's ultimate cash cow, generating massive income from multiple avenues. In 2021 alone, he reportedly earned over $40 million from fighting. His pay-per-view events bring in huge revenue, and as his own promoter through Most Valuable Promotions (MVP), he maximizes earnings from every matchup. Paul also leverages his enormous social media following with endorsements and YouTube content. Known for calling out boxing legends, offering them huge paydays, and then trash-talking after fights, he made headlines with his bout against Tommy Fury, which ended in his first professional loss. Despite setbacks, Paul continues to market himself as one of boxing's biggest draws, maintaining relevance and influence in the sport.
Tyson Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah, I think that's what I heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight, and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
I love that dude.
Me too.
And he was a larger-than-life figure in my childhood.
Truly, me
When
too.
I was a kid, when he was the champ, it was like, people don't understand what a champ he was. Like, he wasn't just the heavyweight champion of the world. He was an executioner. Like,
Truly.
every fight was just a matter of how long was it going to last.
Which fight it was that I went to go see a couple of fights, and I actually went to go see Julio Cesar Chavez fight, and that's when I...
Good for boxing, because it's showing people you can fight someone that is well-known, credible, can fight, marketable, without a championship, and have that same effect early on in your career, and you can still get all the rewards anyway. So I think that they're showing guys, oh, hang on a minute, there's so much potential in boxing regardless of championships, and I think it's good because now people start taking more risks early on. These guys coming into the game are changing the landscape for the better, showcasing that if you have a business mind on, marketable, creative, content-driven, obviously talented, you can
Unlike some traditional boxers who dismiss spectacle boxing, Anthony Joshua has taken a more measured view. He believes YouTube boxing has helped the sport by attracting a new audience and boosting overall viewership. Joshua recognizes that fighters like Jake Paul have introduced boxing to younger fans who might not have followed the sport otherwise, expanding its reach and popularity. What's your take? Will Anthony Joshua dominate completely? Or could Jake Paul shock the world with an upset? Share your predictions and thoughts in the comments.